Okay, hello citizens of Nikoleta. Welcome to a quick progress update of the Nikoleta A350. There has been changes mostly to the sound department of things and to the flight attendant panel especially. Flying has also greatly improved, and yeah, I'm not sure if you've realized the PPR textures from Cross have not been installed yet, so there are still some things that are left. The plane would have been released by now if there wasn't, but you know, the cockpit as well is still not imported, so we're still waiting on Cross for that. Might not come in this update though. Anyway, I'm gonna start by showing you the new first officer, flight attendant panel. Okay, so it opens up like this, cool little animation. You've got your audio section, which is still loading. You've got lighting. If it takes a while to load like it did for me, that's just a case of bad internet because I made it so it waits until the whole GUI loads first. Anyway, you can select zones by holding shift, so you can make all of those. Like I like this color especially. Actually, wait. This one. Like that one. You can also change the doors and the side lights here by selecting them. You can set those two to something like that. There you go, very lovely. It's also got gradients, so if I switch this one to like a more blue color, let's go for like this maybe. So you can see it'll have a gradient transition from the rest of it into the the little bar area. Just a cool little thingy, you know. And then you've got the doors, which essentially just turns off the door lights like so. Dims the lights altogether. Toggle shuts it off. That one didn't shut off. Okay, that's something on my end. To do with the gradients mostly, not really the rest of the system. And you've got galleys, which galleys is the front of it over here. That can also shut off. And yeah, and then you've got select all. And that's mostly for this bit. If you go to audio, you can play a sound. Which, hang on, let's check my volume here. Okay, you can play a song like so. It'll smoothly transition. You can adjust the volume. It'll adjust real time for you, but as you let go, it'll smoothly turn the volume up or down on the server side of things. You can pause it, and you can set it to loop. So if we go to the end here, it'll play again. Another thing is if you play a song after it, it'll smoothly transition between the two songs. That's another cool effect. Search is we're still working on that. Essentially what it will do is it will search the whole Roblox marketplace. I've already gotten an example finished for it, but I haven't implemented it yet. It's mostly in a testing game. This little plus button will add it to queue, but with this new GUI, I changed the audio side of things, and the queue button doesn't work on this one yet, so that's another thing I've got to work on. This shows you the length of the song, this is the creator name, pretty obvious stuff. That just throws the GUI down, and that's custom ID down here. And you can exit. And that's pretty much it for the flight attendant side of things. Alright, moving on to the cockpit. We are in the first officer. I cannot speak today. We're in the first officer seat now, and oh, this little arrow down here. If that doesn't load, you just click it. This is an overflow menu, so things like the Seawheel sign are gonna be down here. So you can turn that off. Unfortunately, Roblox moderated the texture, so we're gonna have to re-upload that later. And then I've also made the sounds a lot more accurate. So if we go ahead and turn on the battery here, and then the APU as well. Another thing you might notice is if I look at the front, the APU noise goes away. I've made it so the sound tracks where your camera is. So if you're looking from behind the plane, sound will be louder at the APU and the engine exhausts. If you're in the front, you'll hear the engine whine more than the exhaust sound. You'll notice that more when we're actually flying. The cargo door sounds especially are a lot more accurate. They're a lot more accurately timed, rather. As you can see, Sevelag kind of screwed that up. Another thing you might have noticed that the GI has changed a bit. It's now transparent. The first officer GI has changed completely, actually. And the engine icons have changed. Same with the APU and the light icon. That was a recommendation by Enzo because he hated how it looked like and it was inconsistent, and I didn't agree with him. Another thing is, I've added the little question mark to the first officer GI because there's now extra buttons. For example, V toggles the custom camera, L unlocks the custom camera, and C and 1 to 10 on your keyboard can also change the camera. And if you hold Alt plus scroll wheel, it changes the FOV. Pilot swap is not in yet, but that will be the button for it. And to exit, it's now Control plus backspace. I forgot to close the cargo doors. Let's also go ahead and shut off the APU here, as we won't be needing it, as you will see in a bit. One small thing that I realized I didn't add is if the captain is not in the seat, the flight surfaces don't go up, they don't stabilize whenever the hydraulic pressure is in, so that's a little problem. Anyway, onto the captain side of things now. Again, same little menu here. The captain can now control the lights, which we won't be able to do because the... Oh, maybe we can. Okay, that's another bug. You shouldn't be able to do that unless the battery or there's electricity in the actual plane. Anyways, as you can see, the engines simulate wind whenever they are at a full stop. Sometimes it's not too accurate, sometimes it's accurate. It really depends. Another thing here, as you will notice, is the GI is transparent. Once again, this has been just filled with more buttons. And here, if you scroll, there's a sound now. These also have a sound. We'll go ahead and start the engine here, which there's a quick start button now for mostly training. You wouldn't necessarily use this at a flight because that wouldn't make sense. But here are some engine sounds for you. Again, if we look out the back, I forgot to set the parking brake. If we look at the back, you'll hear the exhaust a lot more, but if we go to the front, you'll hear the engine whine a lot more. Reverses have also been completely nerfed. They were too strong. Now they take a lot longer to spool up. Might need to make the brakes slightly stronger because, as you can see, they don't stop you instantly. However, in a real world scenario, you wouldn't necessarily use reverses for a pushback because that's just not how they do it, really. However, I know right now, there isn't really a pushback tug that works with the Nikoleta A350. However, there will be Nikoleta tug soon enough. I've already finished quite a lot of it, especially on the driving side of things. Another thing you might have noticed while I've been looking around is the inside now has quieter noises. The engine sounds are reduced, the rolling sounds are reduced, and the cabin air conditioner has been a lot louder. You can't hear it on the outside, but you can hear it inside. And another thing is, I didn't mention when using the audio panel on the flight attendant, you can only hear the music when you're actually inside, but you can't hear it when you're outside the plane. Another thing you might have noticed is the wheels. They've changed completely. These were made by me, textured by Enzo. I think he did a good job. I think I did a good job. But yeah, I really like these. Alright, we'll start taxiing now. I'm not going to be speaking too much for this video because I want you to enjoy the pure sound experience of the A350. The engine sounds have completely changed, by the way. They were provided by Sam, so thank you, Sam. And the roll sound has been modified a bit as well, given to me by Enzo. One thing I did forget to mention is the flap sounds, which you will see on the runway here in a sec. Now, once again, this cockpit is not the one you've seen in progress updates. It's not imported yet, so that's that. Okay, real quick, here are the flap sounds. Very nice. The gear sounds have also been made a lot more accurate when they're like accurately timed, similar to the gear doors. Sorry, the cargo doors. And they've also added a little sound to the gear door because it never actually had one. Anyways, we'll go ahead and take off now.
V1. Autopilot also used to be really
unstable when it used to came the altitude. You never really saw it in the last video, but whenever you first turned it on, it used to be unstable and it would put you in a dive. However, that's been fixed, as you can see. Now, ignore this problem with the guidos. I'm not sure why the hell that's been happening. Probably a weird bug with server-side welding. We'll look into that though. Definitely not something you'll see on release. That didn't exist in the v1 at all. Once again here, if you pay attention to the sounds from behind and then you look at the front, they're a lot more like whiny in the front, but on the back it's a lot more wind exhaust noises.
One thousand. Five hundred. 400. 300. 200. 100. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard, 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 retard.
Okay, definitely not my best landing, and I've also reversed a bit on the runway, but that's besides the point. This is this is to show you the progress, not my flying skills. It appears I've also accelerated too much. I'm all over the place. Alright, now we can go ahead and shut off the engines, using the quick shut off as well. They are still spinning. Oh, never mind, they're going slow. It appears for whatever reason engine 1 is still on. At least that's from what it looks like. Never mind, there it is. You can still hear the engine sounds though. Okay, that might be a little problem on my end. But I think that showcases most of the updates we've done to the A350. Hopefully more soon to come, like for example the cockpit, the PPR that you've seen in progress updates, improved textures in general, and there's this little thing called the yaw damper, which is rudder assist in here, which will essentially counteract, for example, if one engine fails, it'll try to straighten the plane. And yeah, that one Sam's helping me with, because yeah, but it's practically done. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I can talk about. I don't think there's like much left on the A350 at all. Like I said, it's mostly just finishing this thing, making sure there aren't any bugs, like for example the gear ones we've seen, and like the gear arm sticking out, and the fact that the engine sounds are still on. Other than that, I don't think there are any other bugs that I've seen, and yeah, there isn't really much left aside from just this thing, making sure there are any bugs, and a possible small change I might do to the thrust to make it slightly more accurate, and the flight attendant panel thingy, and then the PPR and the PPR, because the cockpit might come in another update. Real quick, something that I did forget to mention is the fact that you can now anchor the plane. If the parking brake is engaged and you're at a full standstill, you can press Ctrl P and the plane will anchor itself. that's another cool little thing. And yeah, that is all. Hope you enjoyed this little progress update. I'm sorry for my horrible landing, and yeah, hopefully we can see this thing out before the end of the year. I wish you all a wonderful day, and yeah.